The Random RPG Maker Roulette! Massive pile of unknown games. Pluck one out, timer for 30 minutes, have a play, and see if we get something good.
I thought a good bonus feature to do at the end of this would be doing a similar style half-an-hour previews of RPG Maker games I already know are good. Ones that classics that I loved from when I was younger. And so the next one we're doing is Always Sometimes Monsters, which, a game that I bought entirely based on the title and wondering what on earth does that mean? It would be a good time to revisit this because there's actually been a sequel that's come out semi-recently called Sometimes Always Monsters, which, again, hilarious, good use of a silly name twice. But I find it really interesting is that the sequel actually lets you carry over your save data, despite the fact the sequel has an entirely new, revamped art style. It's made a later version of RPG Maker. It's all fabulous. They managed to find a way to make you save over your save file data so you can actually continue the adventure of your original characters. It's a shame I can't actually do it because I don't have the save file from when I first played this as a kid. I say a kid, but in my teens-ish. Wow, 2014, literally 10 years to get a sequel out. That is dedication to the craft. You come and bring it back after that time. I really appreciate that. But yeah, that's why I don't have my save file. I've been through 2 computers since then. Anyway, this one, I kind of have to give a caveat. It's I don't know if I necessarily recommend it as good, but it's a sense the gameplay is great, but the concept of it is kind of there are a lot of RPG Maker games around the time which were a bit overly edgy to prove hey, we can use RPG Maker for things other than just Japanese horror games, which for some reason was the most popular thing in RPG Maker, not actual RPGs. This was in the genre of let's have super edgy, extremely Western games. And while the game itself is really great, it's a bizarre mix of being incredibly inclusive and also edgy and offensive on purpose at the same time. It's can you imagine South Park existing in a universe that was pro-trans? That's why it's really great. This game has unprecedented levels of customization for an RPG Maker game. You can start off the game not only selecting your gender, not only selecting to be gay or straight, whether you start off basically already married to someone. The whole game is about having a dramatic breakup and then going through a series of complex, angsty, slightly over the top edgy events in order to either get your wife or husband back or end in a horrible tragedy in the end, depending on your choices. But it's really good. It's you can select who you're already married to, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're a man or a woman. But you can also select about I think 6 or 8 different designs for both your protagonist and your spouse, and also your rival character. There's a million customizational designs for everybody. And the really interesting thing too is depending on what design you pick, you actually get characters in the setting reacting and changing different depending on it. Basically, because it's an edgy game, you're going to be dealing with a lot of prejudiced people through it, and you will get you get sexist people attacking you, get homophobic people attacking you, get racist people attacking you, depending on what you pick in character creation, which is interesting, but also a depressing way of doing that, to be honest. And what I also found really great is that you can retroactively decide some things about your character's backstory during the gameplay of a game. You have at the beginning, you start off only deciding hey, am I gay or straight? Which designs am I going to use for this? But as the game goes along, you both learn about what your character is doing on their big edgy adventure to get their spouse back. But also you get moments to talk about your past, what's going on, and it's really interesting. At the time, it was one of the first as far as I know, one of the first Western games which lets you play as a trans character. But it's really interesting that you don't decide you're trans at the start of the game. You have to get a specific side quest so you meet another trans person, and then you can say, oh, by the way, I'm trans too, or you can say my spouse is trans too. We really didn't have an option to say I'm trans and also my spouse is trans, but I don't know, they couldn't give an option for everything, but they surely tried to give an option for almost everything they could think of, and it was really, really impressive. I remember when I was younger, when I was a young teen, playing this game, I was put off by the edginess and the juvenile humor and stuff like that, because it is weirdly, they play the edginess for angst, sometimes they play the edginess for humor sometimes. Either way, it's not my kind of thing, overly sexual and overly scat humor and stuff like that, and people being racist, even though racist people aren't supposed to be the positive representation in here. It is a game that is very much on the side of the underdog. But I put up with it and I played it despite the fact that it was just not my genre of game, because it had so much unprecedented levels of customization and LGBT positivity, and I ended up not regretting it, even though I was completely grossed out by several scenes, including the one where it's a BDSM teddy bear. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. How can you have a teddy bear be your dom? Like, wouldn't you have to be role-playing it? You have to, like, put your hand up it like a puppet, and then, like, I don't even... But that's a level of jokes that happen along. It's like, one guy randomly gets revealed as being in a sexual relationship with a teddy bear that's his dominatrix, and... Yeah, it's immature humour. So, I'm going to head this off by saying, like, if that's not your kind of thing, I totally understand if you want to skip this one. I am going to be only playing the first half an hour, so I probably won't get to, like, the worst of the worst. But, like, just to give the perspective, like, I was the kind of person, this isn't kind of my jam, and I didn't want to play it. And I still played, and I still enjoyed it. I think that's a great sign of quality, and, like, even if you fundamentally hate the entire genre it is, if a game still brings enjoyment to your heart, then that's definitely a good game. So anyway, let's go have a play. Let's see if it's as bad as I remember, or worse than I remember, and also if it's as good or better than I remember. The game of all contrasts. Oh wow, that's pretty weird. They scribbled out the logo? Oh. That's one way of doing it, I guess. I remember when I first played this game, it was like the first game published by Devolver Digital I'd ever played. But it seems like they've now become like, the Vagabond Dog company is able to like publish their own games. So I guess that's one way of like retroactively porting into the first game. I guess I couldn't program out the first screen for some reason. As you can see in the corner, the sequel, save importing, really excited about that, but I do have to replay the first game again to be able to do that. Anyway, to refresh myself on what I gotta do, because it's been so long since I recorded one of these, gonna set a timer for 30 minutes, give a little preview of the game, have a run through, see what we see then, and see if it's a good representation of the game or not. See if we find good or grand or great or awful or terrible poop jokes. Let's go! Oh, nostalgic for music. Nostalgic for that old Mac style of RPGMaker sprites. Stop! Wait! Nostalgic for this weird Kentucky Fried Chicken looking man. Where the hell do you think you're running off to without me? I'm the boss, you don't make a move until I tell you what to do. Got it? Thought I told you already. Interesting thing is that you do get to have a customizable protagonist. This is not your protagonist. They start the game in medias res. It's one of those games like they start with like the very end of a story and then it gets you hooked on finding out where you got there. The interesting thing is depending on the choices, the end of the story does still change. Like the identity of who the other character is going to be in this scene completely changes depending on your choices in the story, and you get a totally different ending. It's a great way of doing it, starting you off showing the ending while also not showing the ending. It's really, really well done. I thought I told you already. Once I'm paid, then we're through. I don't need you controlling me anymore. No, you ain't finished working yet. There's plenty of people I still need killed. Edgy Colonel Sanders. You don't get to say anything until I decide you're done spilling blood. You checked that privilege at the door when you signed up for this job. See, it's like, at its best, it's like it's good, angsty, edgy. At its worst, it is like lowest common denominator jokes. And it does have a problem with sometimes it does clash, like how serious it wants you to take the edge sometimes and how unserious it wants to take you other times. This game isn't flawless, but it does have a soft place in my heart. Here I make the rules, here I decide what happens. That's what you signed up for, right? Also sign up for Jammin' Tunes. Look, if it's more money you want, all you got to do is ask for it. Name the price, I'll pay it. Whatever it takes to knock some sense back into your head. Don't want any more of your money. I already have more than I need. Why can't you understand why someone might not want to do this anymore? Hey, what did I just tell you? You ain't going anywhere unless I say so. Or am I? I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. Don't do something we'll all regret by, like, stopping the amount of murders in the world. We'll all regret that! And here you can see the mysterious character. Excuse me, sirs, you got a minute or $1? Hard times all around. Smelly vagabond. Get the hell, yeah. It actually, like 0 to first tonal whiplash moment where it goes from like genuine edgy to kind of funny. We don't have anything for you. I can afford to pay £1,000 to murder people, but I can't spend $5 for a person on the streets. Terrible. How you instantly know this is a shit man. Oh, I've heard that one before. Probably from you too. Got awareness then. Different day, different street. Who knows, maybe you used to know each other. Yeah, can you imagine that? Winding up back here again. I'm not going to say that word. It is a bit of a shame, like, you are supposed to be sympathetic to this guy in the intro. Like, the entirety of the ending depends on you feeling good sympathy for him. That, yeah, he's getting out of the business, and, like, whether you get a good or a bad ending, it depends on like who the character in the mask ends up being, and also like are they able to sway this guy's heart in the end. So it is a bit of a shame they do have him like joining in on the anti-homeless phobia stuff, and also just throwing out ableist slurs for no reason. Get the hell out of my way! Right, we're gonna keep things moving along. Before you go though, there's something I think you want to take a look at. This gun! What the hell is this? Well, you might say I've been expecting you. Does it feel familiar standing on this end of the barrel? That line always gets me. Like, it's generally really dramatic moments in this. Would you feel more comfortable with your own piece, Crawl? Go ahead, I'll wait. I think it's really, they did a lot of work in like taking like, at the time, like not default RPGMaker assets, but like commonly used RPGMaker asset packs and customizing them. Like, that's a really well drawn custom pose. Like you see like so often when people like try and edit this particular the Mac bases were like very often misused because it's like a more detailed base than the default RPGMaker base, so not a lot of people like knew how to match the colouring style. You might see a bit like on the Colonel Sanders guy, like you can see like the outline of his hair doesn't really match the outline of his skin and stuff like that. But like the amount of times I've seen shittily used Mac pose, I really admire like that actual good pose. Also, I'm noticing this guy kind of looks like the cop from Deadly Premonition. That's right, aim it right between my eyes. The hell do you want, you nut job? What do I want? I want to tell you my long story for about 9 hours and have morally complex choices. I like playing games, don't you? I do. What do you say to giving mine a spin? Don't know what this fool's smoking, but if he doesn't put that gun right down, you put a hole in his head. That's like a bit of a moment where like the choices like didn't necessarily line up, because this character in the end can end up not being a girl depending on who you pick for the protagonist, and also the rival and everything like that. Like all the characters this could potentially be could also be a woman depending on your choices. So like, this was kind of before the time they them pronouns were like normalised, and also this guy is a bigoted fuck who's trying to kill him, so assuming gender is kind of on character for him. Of course you can hurry this along if you like, we can all be done with it if you wish. Like any of this matters anyway. The end. I want to tell you a story though. What about the many choices we all make? Yeah, I'm advertising my own game. At the end of it, you can decide what to do. Well, they explained the ending better than I ever could. The only rule in the game? Let me finish. No interruptions. Then the choice is yours. You better choose wisely! Or we can pull the trigger right now. Honestly, like, that's like the binary of like bad edgy game, good edgy game. Sounds a lot less time consuming, doesn't it? Either way, the choice is always yours. Oh, I forgot you can actually get like an early bad ending. I'm not going to do that because I wanted to actually show off the game. But yeah, you can get an early bad ending in the first 5 seconds of the game by just saying no. But I like that, like, again, they humanise this hitman guy by like giving him the option to be like the reasonable one in the situation, and in the end up quitting it all if he does actually end up listening to the whole story and getting the right moral message from it. He'll put that gun down, fine. Talk fast. The edge. There are many roads between yours and mine, but all roads start from the source. Many doors, Ed boy! You ever been dragged to a party by someone? What if a party was life itself? Led by the nose, barely wanting to take part. Did you even have a choice not to go? It would take something miraculous to change you, but would you know the opportunity when it knocked? See, it's just a complex mix of like really good like poetic lines, but then sometimes they're just done so over the top and the metaphor is so strange that it ends up being unintentionally comical. Then also there's plenty of points where the game is intentionally being comical, so at best the floor of it is a mixed bag. Fair weather friends are a somewhat harder sort. A man of opportunity to spare knows this best. One such man of opportunity threw a party. He was looking for someone special, important. Not a lover, not a friend. He was looking for someone of substance. I'm turning into this voice. It's the kind of voice I imagine someone narrating Twilight would give. Whether it was the right choice or not, that's still up for debate. That's also the voice I imagine someone narrating Twilight would give. That night they toasted ambition, success, and more. Little did they know how steep the mountain was. That's a good sepia tone fade effect. I also like how the game like creatively uses like controlling different characters. Like you start the game controlling the guy who's not a protagonist, then you go control the guy who's not a protagonist, and whoever you talk to in the party determines who the protagonist actually will be. It's a really good way of integrating that without like just having a selection menu interface. Did you change your mind? You can't invite all these people over and just leave you to take care of them, Larry. They're all weird. They're all protagonists. Why can't you have normal friends? They're all work friends, writers, artists, wannabes. You know, like the one I was telling you about? Which it could be anyone in this room. Boss wants me to sign someone by next week, but I still haven't got a clue what I'm looking for. The player does, so well, just pick someone who's gonna do a good job. I don't want you getting fired over some fuck up. This apartment's way too nice for that. Yeah, okay, I love you too. Wow, your wife is terrible. Great party, Larry. Really glad I could make it. I'm glad you're here too. Did I tell you about this red wine I found? Give me a second, I'll go get some for you. We can toast, it'll be great. Wife says I can't have more than one tonight. And again, I'm a sucker for good vintage. Rather like whoever you toast with becomes the protagonist. That's it. I think it's interesting how in this thing they give them a bit of personality for all these protagonist options, but then once you pick them, they all just act the same in the plot anyway. Maybe I'll skip through these intros because again then they are totally like irrelevant because your character's protagonist is up to your choices later on anyway. I'll just show all the options we have. That's the one I kind of like best from like. That's the one I ended up like. I like this one and the lady with the beanie the best of the female op. Also nostalgic to see like that was it like SBF B4 animal tile set cat that like everyone used in RPGMaker at the time. I'll pause my timer for now and I'll skip through like showing those options, like edit them all into like a screen cap on the screen or something. I can see forever. Oh! It is like some of art seems like they're in a slightly different art style to everybody else. Oh, that was one of my favourites. It was so hard to choose between the male options. I remember on my first playthrough, I think I just went for the male option because like a lot of the girl options were all like sort of generically pretty, and like different like races and like genres of generically pretty. But I think the dudes had like more appealing like different outfits and stuff like that. A little bit odd how there isn't body variety in the options you can pick for the protagonist, but if you the spouse you pick actually can like you can have like buff and like non-buff and stuff like that. I guess maybe because the spouse is supposed to be like the idealized perfect spouse you want to have, even though overall the game they kind of screw you over a bit. Like the game just does to start with your spouse leaving you for kind of a stupid reason, and the entire game is like wanting to win them back, but like the amount of other stupid things they do during the plot, I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of just want to give up on this. But the way this game is set up, there isn't a way to get a happy ending without getting your spouse back, so I always like went for it anyway, even though personally I'd like to, like, it'd be better if this guy could like move on and like meet someone else, but I don't know. Like I said, the game tries to give as many options as possible, but obviously they couldn't give every possible option. Like it just wasn't possible with technology at the time. But it's still impressive. This game has like literally more options than The Walking Dead, and like an indie game coming out around a similar time is kind of really impressive. Oh god, this guy has the most different art style of all. It looks like a worm. He was big, he was all wiggly. An Alaskan ball worm. Oh, there is one chumby guy in the main option. I totally forgot about this dude. Maybe I'll pick him this time. Oh wait, these are the cameos of the developers. Damn, it's not an option. Yeah, these two guys, the guys that you saw in the title, are the cameos of the developers. That's really cool they just put themselves in. But it's a shame they put themselves in the room full of character designs you want to pick. Because I want to pick that guy. He looks really, really rad. Like good fashion sense, and also like he's chumby like me for real. Is this an option? I don't remember this option. Oh no, this is one of the NPCs. Again, all the best looking options are the ones that aren't options. I was saying if she was an option I would have immediately picked her. But no, she's a character you meet later on. His plot is kind of crap. It's like it's about like jokes about stoners, blah blah blah, and then like either her or her boyfriend dies from an overdose. It's kind of like a big old downer ending, and it's like, what's the point of anything that's going on here? Are you an option? Are you an option? Okay, I might pick you as an option. You're like the one person who's like significantly different body shape. And he imported weird beer from France. Okay. He's cool. I think this guy was the guy I picked on my first playthrough. I don't know why, I just vibed with the design a lot. Like, his overworld sprite doesn't necessarily look the best because you can see that the ears kind of poke through the hoodie on the sprite. It's a bit odd. But like, I really like the design, the way they drew him here. He looks really cool. Maybe I didn't click everyone on my first playthrough, because I think if I picked like if I saw the guy next to, I probably would have picked him instead. Or was I just like one of those situations where he was the one I was torn between picking? I can't remember so much about this game, to be honest. It's a bit of a shame. We're going with strange, chumpy absinthe man from France. With that, let's turn our timer back on. Never had real absinthe before, though. Well, now you shall indeed. Give me a second to run to the patio. It's someone I want you to meet. We'll happen to meet the ball and chain. Well, from his perspective, he has a shitty wife, so yeah. Don't go anywhere, Larry. I'll be back from the patio before you know it. Good to see you. Life treating you well? Yeah, it's been great, Vince. It's right in that book of... Oh, I forgot. It's really interesting. It's like, after you pick who you actually want to play as, you get to, like, learn like this like default names for everybody else. Some of them actually do appear later in the plot and get their own side quests. So it's a bit of a missed opportunity that not everyone did though. Speak of a bit, alright. And now here we have another, I'm gonna pause the timer again because I gotta go around and find all the designs for everybody else. This guy over here, I can see immediately the guy in the top right, he's the guy I picked in the first playthrough. Cause like, I mean just look at, he's got massive himbo energy. This game came out before himbo was even a slang and I knew it. I gotta say, a lot of the girl options for the spouse are like even more generic than the actual protagonist options. They all a lot of them kind of look similar to the options we already had available for the protagonist. Would you like to marry literal SpongeBob? This game foreshadowed himbos and the SpongeBob musical. Again, I wish I could pick this as an option, but no, this is the boyfriend of the other stoner joke lady and one of the two of them will die by the end. It is kind of a shame, like, they try and wring your emotions from, like, the inevitable tragic death, but when they spend the entire game making jokes about, haha, stoners, funny, harmless, blah blah blah, aren't they just terrible people who steal all your money, etc., it's a bit of a waste of potential. Again, a place where, like, the conflict of tone really didn't do well. Yeah, I think I remember why I picked Green Shirt Guy, like, he stands out immediately on the overworld sprite, and then, like, I click on him and go, oh, he's a really cool design, let's see what everybody else looks like, and everybody else looks terrible. So, we're going for you. You're going to date a different dude today. We have progressed from Twink and Hunk to Bear and Hunk. That is the 10 years that this game was created. That is the progress we have made in this world. Also, the word himbo now exists. For both of them. We've got to go though, he's waiting on us. We're going to toast to that bottle we bought. That's amazing, what are you waiting for? It's a perfect opportunity to bring out that book you and Sam are working on. Oh yeah, Sam is the rival character. Do you think Sam will mind me pitching our book alone? I'd be kind of pissed if I was left out of negotiations. Pissed enough to become the villain of the entire game. Can worry about that later. If you don't get in there and butter him up now, you'll two be drafting forever. If you don't butter him up now, he won't slide under the door. I guess you're right, we've got to make it happen first. Come on, you got the gift? Shit, we forgot to sign the card. Hey, give it to me. That's a good way of integrating like a natural way to have a name entry thing. I don't know what the default name is for this guy because you don't know unless you don't pick him. But I know he feels like a Dominic to me, or a Dominique because like I don't know if he's French or he just bought that from French. I'll go for Dominic because I don't know. But I gotta say, French, you really like you hold the monopoly on better spellings of names. Okay, my turn. Oh, what did I call you? I can't remember what I called you. That's a shame. I wish I could remember whatever I called him in my first life. If I manage to find like an old screenshot of that or something, I'll prop it up on screen. But for now, I don't know. I'll just call you Flint. That's my brain immediately going to like what's it like Mystery Science Theater like beef, man, junk. What's the most slab-related name I can think of? Flint, rock, chunk, hunk, punch brofist. Slam beef heel, crunch man titties, slam muscle heavy, lift swole huge, rip shirt tear, Greg much arms, Brick Hoffman, Craig McCraig Craig, Brandon Brendan, Norwald Ovalberry, Igneous Stone, Cliff, another synonym for rocks. I think I am just going to go for Brick. Yours truly, Dominic and Brick. We rhyme and that's how you know we are truly in love. Let me see that for a second. Sounds perfect. Literally sounds perfect. You're the best sounding couple here. Alright, Brick, let's go. Wait, kiss me first. Smorch. Good luck. Smorch. Oh, it's a bit of an error of them jittering as it pans up. I don't know if that's like a compatibility error because this was made for like an older version of RPGMaker back when like Windows 10 didn't even exist. It's probably just like an older version of RPGMaker before parallax and stuff was easy to do without like an inbuilt script. It's because they were called scripts, not plugins back then, because the engine didn't even like support natively like adding them in. You had to like program it into like a different folder and so on. How times have flown, and how nowadays the default RPGMaker sprite style looks absolutely terrible. That's probably why so many people are nostalgic for the old ones. Also just there were a lot of good classic ones that came out this time. So Larry, before we toast, let me guess, you've got a book you want to pitch. Just hear me out. No need, Dominic. There's a reason I'm toasting for you. I've seen your stuff. You got talent, you got grit, you got gumption, a lot of potential, but you're rough. You're rough and unpolished like a brick. I want to put a good word in with the boss, see if he can get you in advance. Do not trust him, do not trust him. This is how the game starts. That's crazy. It's almost like it's too good to be true, eh? Seriously, thank you so much. I'll get you something to show him in the morning. This is too exciting. Let's toast. Smorch. To ambition. To abject failure 5 minutes from now. To success. Oh. See, once you know this guy, it becomes like a slimy arsehole later in the game. Looking back at all his actions in the intro, it's like, foreshadowing. To getting rich, like, at least his wife is like open about how much of an arsehole she is. I'll toast to great partners, to world domination, to the future, to not screwing up. Oh, I'm gonna attempt fate, to not screwing up. Really didn't matter who set things in motion. The landslide at last started long before at night. This version of the story needed a hero though. Would this be the one? Yes. I'd have to give you a bunch of opportunities to say yes or no to all this, but like, I've already decided, mate. I've been maybe a bit too many times confirming. It kind of ruins the pacing of the story. 1 year later, one more thing. My life is failing and I'm falling apart. And they even animated you under the covers. They really went all out with the extra sprite animations. Also, a good opportunity to put in the credits. There's the credits for. I guess that makes sense why the art style's a little bit inconsistent with multiple people doing it. But they did a really great job. Most of the time, you can't even tell the difference. It's just like, again, when you see like so many protagonists opposite next to each other, it's easy to notice like one of them has a slightly different face. Choice is an evaluation of cost and benefit. Circumstance dictates the evaluation. I'm suddenly talking extremely formal like I wasn't before. Consequence takes care of the rest. In this system, there can be no right or wrong, which is the excuse for us to have edgy humour. What time did I get in last night? Shit! Looks like my Peebles sleep monitor got reset. Do I get to sleep when this thing tells me to? I was halfway to earning my 1 month circadian master sleep achievement. Again, this is where like immediately go from like really formal like here is the moral of the story to let's make a joke about like the predecessor to Google Fit was bad. Not that Google Fit is any better. Let me just cycle through the modes and reset this thing. One. There we go, all set. I'm not sure if I was actually allowing me to set what date it is, or if it just was just all automatic. I didn't actually see if there was any option to like go up and down and change that. But yeah, if it was like that, that's so much customization. You can choose what day you are. I don't know if anything changes depending on what day you are though. Say the longest journey starts with a single step. Boop. But yeah, I just feel like you're immediately like wondering what happened to make this poor guy's entire life fall. But also it's kind of funny when you pick this design because it's such a fancy outfit, and then the entire plot is like now I am in horrible poverty. Looks like there's a few notes under my door. Attention tenant, blah blah blah, your rent has not been received. 30 days overdue. Eat up, deadbeat. Pay up the deadbeat. Whatever. I'm not so good at reading handwriting. It's always something, isn't it? I don't know, that was like one case where like the vulgar humour actually was kind of funny, like the contrast between the overly formal letter and then just like, oh by the way, already your landlord is a fuck. Come to see if you want to get coffee, best work of the Phoenix, but you were asleep. Before work at the Phoenix, but you were asleep. Don't be late, man, I vouch for you and my manager hates slackers. At least I got a job for today. You grabbed your apartment key, you got your bank card. I have a drug job. A job. Where is it? I know it's in here. Excuse me, Mrs. Terwilliger. Oh, pardon me, darling. I get in your way. I got so distracted looking through my purse and my little calendar. But never is enough time in the day, you know. Oh, I know what you mean, Grandma. I know exactly what you mean. There's never enough time to do everything you want to. This is a tutorial. Heck, I don't even have enough time to pay my rent these days. I seriously think I'm done for this time. Where's your roommate? See, this is the first bit you start getting dialogue changes. You start getting like it starts with like well-meaning grandma who is a bit homophobic but trying to not be impolite about it to like, yeah, you will get like slang up, like no matter who you pick you will get some sort of slur thrown at you in the game. Things didn't work out, it's just me now. That's a real shame, you're such a good kid. Tell you what, if you need some money, why didn't you come back on my place? Oh no, I remember now. Oh, this was one of the edgy side quests, wasn't it? Like, you go over to the grandma's house, it's like, hey, if you give me a blowy, I'll give you some money. And it's like, haha, funny, grandma wants her sex, blah blah blah. That's the kind of joke I really don't like, okay? I really don't like. I don't want to think about my grandma, like, prostituting herself to, like, very young men. That's just a little bit off the beaten path of, like, going from, like, edgy joke to just gross. Look at the house. I hope it's not that. I'll put a think about it because, like, I hope it's not that. Maybe I'm just misremembering because they had that joke on Futurama too around the same time. I think about it, I'm supposed to spend the day helping a friend. Maybe I'll come by and have a time for it afterwards. If you got plans, don't you worry about it. My door will be open if you change your mind, though. Have a good day. I really hope I'm misremembering that. I really hope. That was just like a vivid memory slapping into my frontal cortex of the thing I never want to remember ever again. What's the name of Tim Allen? Like, James Carrey? Jim Carrey? That guy. The guy who does, the new Sonic movies. Him. He had a movie where there was a joke like, haha, you fuck a grandma. And it disgusted me so much. And I just like, oh. I was on edge of this movie. Like, half the time they're really funny and half the time they have like really problematic jokes. At least the older ones do. Not the old ones. That was like coming around this time this game came out. I am not on this stream going to go for that side quest just in case. Cheap ass landlord. I'd like to get a problem for months. Oh, I didn't know that by the time I was playing this second time I would really relate to this. Sounds like the landlord's on the phone. With lights off, I might be able to slip out of here undetected. Hold it, you mangy punk! You really think I wouldn't notice you just because the lights are off? I had that clap on, clap off thing installed last week. Overdated references. Just where the hell do you think you're going? You're in a lot of trouble, punk. You're a whole month late in your rent and I'm not in the business of sheltering deadbeats. I don't care about the poor. You're going to pay me what you owe or I'm going to have to touch your ass. Sadly, my landlord is like nowhere near as bad, but like, it is just a point of like, I guess sometimes it's even worse when they act really polite and it's like they just don't listen to you about getting repairs done. It's like, you end up feeling like the bad person for like insisting that like, hey, there are bugs in my bathroom floor, please help. You're serious about evicting me, huh? Give me time. I just need some time. I've been waiting on a check from my publisher. As soon as it arrives, I can pay. Like, he started to slowly trickle out exactly what went wrong here. That guy was a fuck from the end. Look, a check's gonna be here soon. I promise, it's gotta be here soon. Just give me until the mail's been delivered, okay? I don't care if you and your gang-banging crew have to knock up an old lady for the money. I hope that's not foreshadowing. Also, again, dialogue changes depending on who you pick. You're out of time, deadbeat. Pay me £500 by the end of the day or consider yourself officially homeless. In fact, you know what? Hand over your key right now. Get it back from me when you pay your bills. That's your incentive to like do anything desperately for the potentially very morally wrong jobs you get given on the first day. It's like you're literally going to be fucking out on the street. You can, I don't remember if you can actually manage to make the 500, but if you can, I think you have to pick like the worst possible options to make it. Also, I think I remember if you run away with the key, then he doesn't let you back in even if you come back with the money. It's like, oh, after that stunt you pulled, I don't care, you're out. So, yeah. Oh wow. Now I'm going to be totally screwed if I don't do the worst possible thing possible. Come to me when you got the money and I'll let you back into your room. See you later, deadbeat. Overduality of good and bad grammels. What a fucking arsehole. £500 by the end of the day. I can do this. I couldn't make £500 by the end of the day and I'm not even in this bad of a situation. I've already got work at the Phoenix so I can go help Mrs. Terwilliger. Time to get to work. I really don't want to get evicted. So at the point I'd rather take the obviously bad drug job than be jump scared by grandma peeny weeny time. Hey Dominic, how's it going, man? I'm good, Bellinger. Hanging around like usual, I see. Hanging around your different arsehole. I got no need to walk around when I can see the whole city from right here. Sounds productive. But I gotta hustle. My landlord wants £500 by the end of the day and I don't know how I'm gonna get it. Dang, that sucks. Well, I'm broke so I can't help you with cash. I did find this rare indie heroes it's a random side quest of collecting figurines and like you can end up just making money from them in the end, but mostly it's just for the sake of like funniness. And they're all references to other RPG Maker games at the time, which is it's nice. It's nice, a good shout out to like your friends in the game development industry. But also I'm just not interested in that kind of side quest because I have like 30 minutes to show you all the game. So yeah, it's where the game opens up and you can theoretically do like almost anything, but you have like usually every day gives you like 2 goals to work towards. Hey, welcome to Dirty Don's Popcorn Stand where I sell fresh popcorn and absolutely nothing else. Sell anything else? I just told you I sell popcorn and nothing else. Get lost, kid. I think he's working with the drug guy, I think. Anything else? The mobile machine? Yeah, this game has a lot of I think like it's really hard to actually get like the good ending, like get enough money to get the good ending. You got like take advantage of like various systems and like there's like ways to cheat on various gambling and all that, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm not going to do that in time. Say intelligent people get more depressed than those of less developed minds. I'm a cliche parody of emo kids and everything has to happen at the time, blah blah blah. Kids being depressed, make fun of them, yay! By that measure, I must be a genius. But yeah, like I said, edgy humour every now and again. Sorry pals, a gas stick or something getting fixed down the road. We're limiting off this section of the open world until you finish the first side quest. Oh, I love that. The whole area is getting filled with tutorial ads. Sometimes it is real funny. Oh, this song is really like nostalgic for this one. Can't you do any flowers or produce today? Yeah, eventually you're gonna have to, like, there's gonna be a point where like you have to buy enough stuff to, like, I don't think you have like a hunger bar. I think there are points in the game where like it checks like, hey, have you eaten today? So open the pub. I have no idea where to go for our first side. It'd be good to like at least show like a start to the first one to like prove what I mean about this game having like edges. Where must I go to get the bad jokes? Where must I go? Okay, no, this is not what the grammar is. That's why at least these open worldy type games aren't necessarily very good for random RPG Maker, because like, yeah, you can't really predict when you're actually going to get to the stuff. A lot of good memories here at the Phoenix. Dark F should be waiting for you inside. Let's do an edgy side quest. Whoa, partner, we ain't open yet. Excuse me? Said we're closed, dipshit. Why don't you turn around and get lost? Where's Dark F? Yeah, I'm working here today. Is Dark F around? But the arsehole that everyone's been waiting on then? Dark F's in the main room, so I'd get my arse over there if I were you. I'm getting my arse. Hey, terrible side quest man, and for dead rise. You're late too. Better give you any trouble at the door? No, let me right through. Some bouncer he is. How you been? Pumped for the show? I'm nervous, really nervous. I'm gonna take a hit. Haha, funny drug jokes. Probably. My first big show since I split with Viper. I don't know how I was gonna go without her. I know what you mean. Not a day goes by where I don't wonder how different my life would be if he hadn't left so suddenly. Jeez, we're on this shit again. Look, Brick left you, what, a year ago? You're complaining about you losing your wife, and I can't complain about you losing my husband. Fuck you. It's time to move on, dude, don't you think? You're not moving on. You're right, it's just not that easy for me. And if you notice, but life is kind of shitty for me ever since he left. How long are you going to blame him for everything? Ironic, because as the game goes on, you kind of see it is kind of his fault for everything. It's half his fault, it's half the shitty publisher's fault. This game does kind of like give a message like, oh, you have to take responsibility for all your actions, but like literally, it was not your fault this all happened, so it kind of rings a bit hollow. There's a timer, so let's just keep going and finish this side quest. Remember, he left you because of what you did. Annoyingly, the only way to get the good ending is to literally say, I didn't do anything, it wasn't my fault, he left because he was bad. It does baffle me, like the game is supposed to be about like a redemption arc of you learning from your mistakes. Literally doesn't let you have a good ending unless you pick I didn't make any mistakes. The only reason he left because I just couldn't see how good I was and I had self-confidence issues and I couldn't see that my boyfriend was treating me bad. Yeah, on one hand that's good, that'd be good if it was an option, but like it does suck like on your first playthrough to no matter what get the bad ending, have to go back and start over and play all over again and make very specific choices. In this game it's all about like freedom of choice to be able to get the good ending. That's not, again, one of the only flaws I have. Remember, he left you because of what you did. You know what? Fuck you, you're literally lying about how the plot goes. Not all of us are happy to be rid of our ex. Not all of us dated self-destructive junkies. In here we go with everyone on drugs is bad, everyone on drugs is bad. We're just gonna make some jokes, funny jokes. Not cool, man. All I'm saying is that since I left Viper, I'm realizing it's the choices we make that define us. I'm telling you the moral that is not relevant at all. We're worried about the choices I've made? Totally. Am I terrified my music's been shit since I quit? Sure. At least I made a choice, man. You'll be fine. Everyone's really proud of you for getting off with stuff. Oh, I forgot, he does like... That makes me even sadder about how his plot goes. Like, he starts off the game in a plot of like being a recovering addict, and like, by the end of the game, even... I think I remember, like, either he gets back on the drugs and dies, or you meet his ex-wife and she doesn't leave the drugs and dies. Like, you can only save one of them, and like, which one of them actually quits drugs depends entirely on which we pick, which is a bit odd, but like, it's double a shame how this devolved into drug jokes later on, because it does start off like a genuinely like good, this man is trying to do what's right for him and like do a really hard time getting off the stuff. Not everyone, man. Seems like my fans prefer my sound's all fucked up. Part of me thinks they're right. They're wrong. That's nonsense. Everyone's just scared of change. Your manager makes a lot of money for you, I'm sure you sound fine. Pretty sure they haven't even heard me since I kicked the stuff. I'm just nervous is all. That is a thing like I've received, like even though I'm not on like drugs myself, like being on prescription drugs, you get that kind of like, oh, if you take antidepressants, what if your art becomes less bad because it's not full of as much emotion, man? But like, obviously like, when you're going through tough stuff, your art is gonna suffer when you're first adapting to it, but like, in the long run, you're just able to make a different genre of art. You're able to make art about joy instead. And like, yeah, people who are fans of the other stuff might be a bit of a dick to you, but that doesn't mean that nobody will ever like it. And like, in the end, like, being alive, I think, is better than being famous. Like, I know it sucks to have to be told that you're shit at something you've always been talented at, but like, you're alive, man. I don't want you to do what's bad for you and not be here anymore. You may be a bit of a shit, but you have a cool character design, and like, you're a good friend when it comes down to it. I wish I had something to calm my nerves. Oh well, my burden to bear. Here's a layout for the equipment. Try to follow it exactly. I've got enough to worry about tonight. Since you slept in, we don't have any time to read or anything, so make sure you get it right the first time. Speakers, keyboard, drums, guitars. Seriously, a monkey could do this job, you better not mess it up. Get it done perfectly, I'll give you £100, okay? Do it my best, Captain. Oh, just notice it's dollars, not pounds, sorry. The British is showing. Backstage and work spotlights for you. Pick up the guitar! See, I don't know which is the bass or the guitar, so... I think I say like the joke is like from the drawing you can't tell which is the bass or the guitar, so... I'm gonna guess that it will be next to the microphone, because like... when you're using a guitar, aren't you usually also the main singer? No, that's not what I went. I just thought what I was pointing at would do it. Oh well, I fucked up already. I'm not gonna get this. I thought the direction I was pointing is where I'm gonna put it, not the square I was standing on. Damn it! Yeah, here's the joke. We just look identical. Hey, Dominic, come give me a hug. Viper, what are you doing here? I thought you and Dark F split. You sure he's cool with you hanging around here before his show? Trust me, if I know Dark F, he's missing me like crazy right now. Probably already told you, hasn't he? No. Hasn't said a word about it, to be frank. Well, he has, but he said, like, exclusively negative words. He needed a break to you. I think you two are split so for good this time. I always know when you're lying, Dominic. I also know when my baby is super nervous, which is why I'm gonna come here and, like, every time I play this, I would always pick, like, her dying, because her entire personality in the entire game is just, like, I'm gonna encourage this man who's quit drugs to start doing drugs again. It's a bag of heroin. Are you fucking crazy? Are you out of your goddamn mind, lady? Do you not learn why he stopped you? Dark has been doing so well. What the hell is wrong with you? Hey, I'm not forcing the needle in his arm. I'm just running up to him with a needle and rubbing it in his face like a big douche. Nobody is. Except me. The big boy doesn't need to make his decisions for him, which is why I'm going to make his decisions for him. He's nervous about the show and his help's calming down, and who are you to get in his way? Who are you to get in his way of not wanting to do it? You just get from someone else otherwise. Get the fuck. He literally won't. He said he doesn't want her. He said he doesn't want her. If he does, then yeah, that would be his decision. If he goes out and buys it, that's his decision. But you, like, coming up to him and encouraging him is not his decision. You know what? Get the fuck out of here right now, you goddamn junkie. Dark's left you for a reason. What don't you understand about that? Thank you, my protagonist calling the shit out. Go fuck yourself, Dominic. I'm the joke character and I deserve to do whatever the fuck I want for no reason. Don't know the first thing about Dark, what he needs or what he loves. See, it would be nice if it's like resolved, like having like an option like I can date Dark instead, and I can like help him go on the right path and like do what he needs for his recovery and show him that like he doesn't have to go back on heroin to get his girlfriend. Like you were literally like, it's a biased perspective. Like it's like go back on heroin, I'll take you back, and it's like fuck you, man. Go back on heroin, you get your career back. Like you were literally biasing to him. You're not just giving him the choice. So I feel like the game like wasn't so set so firmly. It's like there was only one good ending, and it's getting back with your husband who like has done awful things to you during the plot. They could have been like these side quests could be less shitty if like you had more choice. Like hey, if I ended it with like getting a reward for saving Dark, not like a reward of like sex is a reward. I feel like if it was like even like you get like a big friendship ending, like a social link or whatever, or you could actually date him instead, and like it would feel like more of an encouragement of like. Whereas when I was just playing it, I was like, I hate this plot so much of this lady forcing him to like go back on drugs. I'm just gonna skip it entirely, and like I would have some encouragement to like go on a plot and then make the right choices to keep Dark F off the drugs. Don't know a fucking thing about love. Good luck on the fucking Joe. My baby bombs, it's all your fault. I'm the worst character in the game. I have the best character design. Anyway, I've already fucked up my side quest, so let's go continue fucking up side quests. It's the drums! The trumble drums! Yeah, I do realize this game is like Nintendo hard on purpose for like, it's so easy to fuck up every single side quest, and then like, you're left in a situation where you have no money, so you have to do more ridiculous things in order to get the money. I feel like it's kind of like the point of the game. It's supposed to be really, really hard to get the happy ending. It's a bit of a shame there's not really a game you want to play twice, even though the game does have like a bunch of, like here you could have done like one of two different side quests on the first day. It does have a lot of options that encourage like replayability, and again you can pick loads of different protagonist designs, but like the fact that the game is about like such heavy topics means it's not very likely to play it again. I'm sorry dog if I fucked up your side quest and also your wife is terrible. Well, how'd it go? I put it one space to the left. I'm so sorry. It's the game interface's fault, not me. What do we have here? I'm gonna put this away. Get a lot of trouble if someone found a bag of hair. Oh, that bitch. Oh no, now he's tempted. It's in the house. He's tempted. 3 out of 5 ain't terrible. We seriously could have done better. I could if the game let me. Let's fix the rest of it though. We don't have to skip warm up. Gotta dock you at least something for that. Doc, you're a better man than I remembered. Like you're giving me more credit than anybody else in the game has so far. Why did I skip your side quest in the first? I guess I just assumed like it's not a very good introduction. I don't want to deal with all this. But like he's a good dude. His wife ain't a good dude. Maybe next time give me a map and want a few chicken scratches and doodles on it. Yeah. Again, they deliberately make it easier to mix up the bass and the guitar. Can always count on you. Benny said Viper song by her. Did you talk to her at all? She's looking for me. I don't know what to say because like I don't want to lie to him and like betray his trust, but I also don't want to like in any way encourage him to come back to her. Like I'm just gonna be honest, like I saw her, she was a dick, an absolute bastard, an absolute like, worst in the whole universe. And like 1,000 times I'll play the side quest, I'll pick you over her. She can go die in a fucking ditch, and she does die in a fucking ditch, and it's entirely her own fault. This game gives you good representation. It gives you realistic guy who's struggling with drugs and is having a hard time, and then absolute fucking arsehole who deserves exactly what she gets and isn't even trying. Like person who is good but is addicted, person who is just choosing to do the shit. Yeah, she did shot by. And then I booted her the fuck out. She didn't leave anything here, did she? Yeah, you already got it. That crazy junkie nearly took my head off with a bag of smack. So you don't want me to hold on to that stuff for you? You can get rid of it if you like. I'll be okay. Seriously, I appreciate the concern though. Pat on head. It's gonna come across it again sooner or later. I guess I'll get ready for the show. Feel free to come back to the club a little later if you're interested in working coat jack. Short staff. You know, on this run through, I'm gonna go your subquest and I'm gonna see if like you do end up like being a legit good dude in the end, and like it is like relatable and reasonable dealing with like real actual addiction problems as opposed to the other side of it, which is just I think that's what put me off. Like I feel like it's just gonna be a junkie joke with the nuance and like I'm an adult and I understand this more. Like it have like one side of the route is a junkie joke and one side of the route is like realistic actual sadness. I believe in you, Dark. I'm going to save you. Well, not save you, like I'm going to encourage you to be the best person of you that you can and like remove other people taking the choice away from you. So depending on the door, you're ready to get started. Hey Dominic, you're a good friend. Why did I neglect you on my first playthrough? I take back everything I said. This game is better than I expected. Like, we literally haven't even got to any of the bad jokes. Just kids, I'm not just making this up. There are really bad jokes in the game. Like, there is the BDSM teddy bear joke, and there's a whole side quest where you have to like go up top of a roof and then shit off the roof, and it's like it's animated you shitting off the roof on top of someone else's car. And like, basically, like the whole game is designed so like the early side quests are like practically unwinnable and they're unfair like that with the basis and like the bad interface and stuff like that. So you will end up having to, you start off like relatively normal, you have to descend to like much worse kinds of things to get money by the end. Like the whole point of the game is like you can't go through the game without, even if like me on my first play I tried to pick every nice option possible, there is a point where you're just eventually forced, like there is no point, you get a point where you don't have a choice. You can't go back through the end of a game without having at least like one sin on your heart. So again, it's a bit of a shame with, again, like it promises choices, but then you have to do things a very specific way, and both you have to do things as bad as it wants, you also have to do things as good as it wants. Still, the amount of choice here is really good, and like for the time, and especially for the fact that it is an edgy game that's trying to be edgy, by the standards of edgy games, it is handling things a lot more realistically and with a lot more like diversity and like genuine sympathy for people than the majority of games like that you'll find even nowadays. Like even nowadays, like edgy game is synonymous with like being bigoted as shit, and this game, to give it credit, it's not bigoted, it's literally the opposite of bigoted and shit. You're a good friend too, Darkup. I misjudged you. I misjudged you in your best character design, damn it. And why did they give the best character designs for two characters in like the saddest plot? I'm glad I pushed through the time limit and I went for that anyway. I'm good. I have my opinion improved. Like, this makes me actually want to go and replay the rest of the game, even though I know inevitably that stupid shit side quest, literal shit side quest, is going to be there at some point. I can push through the cringe to try and get like, this is my new save where I right my wrongs and I don't like misjudge the drug guy plotline, assume it's only gonna be bad, based entirely on the bad drug lady. Like, no, I know now going in that there is an option to, like, side with him and not her, and you can get a better ending from him, even if it does mean that she dies in him. But, like, out of the two people, who do you want to die? The person who is actually trying to get better is being sabotaged at every turn, or a person doing the sabotaging? Seriously. Obviously, in real life, I would want to help people who are addicted to drugs, like, no matter, like, whether, like, morally ambiguous or not, because, like, in real life, obviously, like, there are people who, like, they end up doing bad shit because they are in such a desperate position, they are so addicted, like, they can't quit it, and they end up, like, breaking their own morals. But the way they portray Viper, she's clearly not that. She is just, like, a hedonistic arsehole who doesn't even see it as a problem, and that's a bit of a bloody shame. Like, I think maybe it would have been, like, maybe a bit more moral nuance if maybe, like, you started off with a character who's, like, for all I know, if I continue on Cyrus, maybe she does end up getting more nuance later. Maybe it's, like, she starts off seeing that's the objectively wrong option. Later on you get, like, oh, there's deep reasons why she's, like, so addicted to this and stuff, and, like, why she has such a messed up sense of morality. I don't know. I'm feeling way more optimistic about the game than I was when I started going in. I was expecting this to be like, oh, I go in, I talk about a game I really liked as a kid, oh, I didn't understand how problematic it was because I was a kid, and, like I'm understanding this better, it's coming off less problematic than it did. And I picked a superior, better character design too. So yeah, hope I made the right call with Dark. If you did, it's really been there for me this past year. Damn it, man. What was the question mark here? Okay, girls lose. What was the question mark then? Was I supposed to, like, notice me over here? Oh, you can do this, Matt. No, you don't need that. Yes, Sarkov, yes, you don't need that crap anymore. You don't need her anymore either. Do it, flush for shit. Flush for shit. You can do it, I believe in you. Oh, Dominic, you didn't hear that, did you? I did, I'm proud of you. Yeah, I did. You're right though, you don't need that junk. You don't need that junk anymore. I was worried that, like, as soon as you leave there, it's gonna be like the worst case scenario where he gets the nerves and he takes the shit, and, like, you don't need that stuff anymore. I am glad that I didn't just leave that psychos. Thank you, randomly popping question mark that wasn't exactly very indicative of where to go. You're a goddamn rockstar, not a junkie. Like, I wouldn't put it in that kind of rude terms, but you're right. You can do this. Like, man is not born junkie. There's a difference between, like, a person who's fallen into drugs and, like, someone who, like, doesn't see that it's a problem, and, like, again, you could not see it's a problem because you are so drugged and it's messing with your perception of the world, and, like, you feel like there is no hope and everything. There is nuance. Like, even people who, like, seem like they got it all together and are only doing it for fun can be, like, addicts and can be victims. But, like, in this situation, like, man, you were working so hard, you were doing the right thing. You were not inherently bad just because you've made the choice of taking drugs at some point. Again, because of peer pressure, it's not even really a choice. And, like, it's not something that's irrecoverable. You can come back from it, man. I believe in you. So help me God, I'm gonna get you away from your girlfriend, like 10,000 times away from your girlfriend. I'm gonna throw her off the nearest cliff. Yeah, thanks, Dominic. You've been a really good friend this past year. Even when your chips are down, you've been there. Why didn't I pick this route on my first day? I didn't know it was so heartwarming. I didn't know there was gonna be heartwarming in the drug jokes. Me and my preconception, like, again, when I was a kid, I didn't have this nuance knowing about, like, how tough it is. I just thought, like, the only reason you put a character who was addicted to drugs was haha drugs joke. Like, I didn't realise, like, back then, like, I hadn't, like, had experience of, like, actually, when I was first played it was, like, the experience, like, when I was first homeless. Like, I had this, like, old, like, refurbished, like, shitty Windows 98 computer thing that, like, the people in the homeless shelter, like, helped me get. And it was, like, 70 quid on this, like, it was like this call-in line of, like, refurbished appliances and stuff where, like, they give you discounts to people on benefits and stuff. Like, luckily I didn't have to spend, like, a lot of time on the streets. Like, I got really lucky the fact that I escaped my abusive parents when I was just turning 18. Like, it wasn't necessarily, like, right on the cutoff where, like, I wasn't allowed to go into, like, foster care, but I was still able to have, like, young person's help. So I was able to get into a homeless shelter, like, relatively fast and, like, not spend too long and really hard. It was still really tough being in a homeless shelter with, like, no money to your name, and, like, that's the thing is, it was so funny looking back at, like, my first priority was to save up to get a new computer because, like, quite honestly, like, video games were my coping method, and, like, I didn't have, like, a portable console then, and I just thought, like, oh, computer is better than getting a portable console because, like, I can also talk on the internet. But I didn't realise, like, I was so, like, naive. I didn't realise that, like, a homeless shelter's not going to have internet. It was when I first learned how to use, like, a plug-in USB dongle, a mobile data dongle where you could use, like, your mobile phone data on your PC. Like, wow. Bloody times have changed. Now Wi-Fi is, like, way more normalised. Like, I remember when I was a kid, Wi-Fi was so uncommon in Wales. Like, it was situated like you know the Pokemon Wi-Fi event gift Pokemon. Back then, when they first dropped, like they had no idea how to deal with it being in the UK. They were just like literally one city in the entire UK in England. I think if I remember correctly, it was Bristol. One city had the Wi-Fi events. And you had to go to a specific shop to get it. They didn't even have like how to like broadcast it on overall Wi-Fi because it was a situation where like people in Britain did not even have overall Wi-Fi. It was uncommon for anyone except like the richest people to like have it in their house. And I mean, it's wild to think about. They didn't even think like, hey, Wales is like literally legally a different country to England in Britain. Like Britain is several countries. Even though, relatively speaking, we are like not very far away from each other, it still takes a really long time to go on the train because you have to cross a border and stuff like that. It's like literally, if I went the amount of distance it is between me and Bristol on like a car to anywhere in Wales, it would take like, what, a quarter of a time. So it's just wild to think, what am I even going on with? But yeah, me playing this game, like, this is nostalgic blasting back. I was in the middle of a homeless shelter on a shitty mobile data dongle on like the worst functioning computer ever. It was when I played this game and all the other RPG Maker games we're covering over here. And these got me from so much tough times because like, as I said, I was raised kind of shitty by my dad, and he would like exclusively only pirate games. Like he was like, oh, I can't be bothered to pay to give you games. And he was like, he would get me to help him like rummage through people's rubbish and like steal anything that could be useful. Even though he wasn't actually poor in any way, he owned his own house because his mum like had a house that he passed down to her and stuff like that. And he like, but he would just constantly be looking like, how can I steal shit from other people to make more money? Messing up. I was gonna say welshing on the benefits, but like, obviously as a Welsh person, I don't like that idiom. But you know what I mean, like cheating on benefits, like ripping off benefits. Like he got money for a mobility scooter. We bought like literally a scooter, like as in a push pedal scooter with it, so he could say he bought a scooter and he used the rest of the money on like other stuff. And the reason he applied for benefits in the first place is because I've learned later about a self-inflicted injury due to drugs. And apparently a way to like inject a certain drug was between your pinky and your second to last toe, and he like fucked it up wrong and he ended up like having to have his toe amputated. Basically my dad was like the representative of all the worst kinds of like stereotypes of drug users and like fake homeless people, which is like not a thing that happens very common. But like I said, me growing up in a situation where it did happen, and when my dad was literally telling me to like rummage through people's rubbish and like get like horrible like tetanus scars on my hands from like being cut open, like pulling out like someone's broken all their electronics that he would like then go sell off to someone else. And it was just like, I think I was going into this game with like a bit of a bias of like, the only experience I ever had with drugs was of my dad, who would constantly accuse me of being on drugs because he wanted to like find someone else to blame, because like if they found drugs I can blame my teenage kid. I had no way of doing it because I was raised so sheltered and like shit. I didn't even have pocket money until I had pocket money up until I was like 10, and then like as soon as my dad took custody of me, like, oh, I'm never gonna give you money ever again. Like the only money he would ever give me was money to get on the bus to school, so I ended up just like not taking the bus, like, every morning just like walking like 50 minutes to school and like hiding the bus money inside my socks, so I would like slowly save up enough money to be able to escape. Like when I escaped I had like 20 quid to my hands, and that took me like 2 months to save up. It was a nightmare. But yeah, enough blabbering on about my shitty life. Just basically, yeah, I'm really glad I've replayed this game for this series. I'm looking at this with like a more nuanced mind, like holy shit. I really feel like this game I can praise it for like using edgy subjects in a way that like highlights the genuine actual societal flaws of them, and like how we should have more sympathy, and like how there's good and bad sides to it. And again, like the reason I'm hating Viper so much, she reminded me of my dad. He literally injured himself from overusing drugs in the wrong way. He faked getting disability benefits. Then he also, you know, at the time there was like the young person's grant to encourage people to go to school. Like I was like, I can't remember what it was called, but like basically you get a credit for every day you like were in school, and like if you add it up, if you get like enough attendance during a month, you would get like a benefit bonus. Like my dad committed like literal like banker fraud. He took out a fake bank account in my name, and I didn't even know I was receiving that benefit because like. And he also told me like, oh, your nana before she died, she put out this grant of like stock shares in the Clark's footwear company that was all gonna be yours when you're 18. Like, and he was saying that was the reason you need to take out a bank card in my name. Once I was homeless, I was able to actually reclaim that bank account as my own and like genuinely get my own debit card and like actual money and actual benefits I was owed for the first time in my life. And I thought he was lying the whole time. There was no money from Nana's benefit grant on there. He had also spent that. He had spent literally Nana's, like in her will, the money she left me for when I grow up. He'd spent all that shit on like drugs. and I just fucking hell. And he grew weed in a little cupboard in a hallway next to my room, and he would always be accusing me of like, oh, I bet you're gonna do drugs someday, or I bet you are, I'm gonna tell everybody if they find any evidence it's you, not me. And the time he took me to the Glastonbury, the Glastonbury Music Festival, and he was like doing a bunch of drugs, and he had like these cannabis lollipops that he gave to me, like at the time I was like 12. I didn't take them because like even then I knew that there's something weird about it smells weird, but like he was like openly doing drugs. There was like naked people all around. I was 12 and I was terrified of like both the loud noises because I was undiagnosed autistic at the time, and like also all dad's scary naked friends all around the place, and the fact that we were in a terrible campsite which had like literal maggots in the floor. I remember crying because I stepped on the maggots. I was scared I'd killed the maggots because like I like bugs. I don't want to kill a poor bug, but I had to go around like barefoot in this camp of maggots and naked people and my dad's weird cannabis buddies, and just, yeah, compared to that, being homeless was literally better. I'm glad replaying this game, and like also the fact that Dark F has a similar hairstyle to my dad. I think that probably biased me towards like not wanting to do a side quest when I first play this. I'm glad to see how far I've come, and like now I'm not in the best place. I've been going through horrible like sickness shit this year, but like I'm in a place where like I can afford, like if I have to go into more debt, like I can struggle, but I can not die and not lose my house, and like I've come so far, and like I have friends I can support. I have a support worker. I have medicine, and like I wish the best for you, Dark F. I hope you can have a good future too. No problem, buddy. I'm sorry I went on a big tangent there. You do the same for me. That's a good place to end this. I'm gonna save next to the terribly messed up bass amp place. That is a really good establishing moment to have like a side quest you literally can't win because the bass and the guitar look exactly the same, and then like no matter what you do, Dark F will still be a good-ish. That's one thing I really it always reminds you that the goal is to get back your spouse, but as the game goes on you see how shitty they are. It's like, why do you have to be in my save file, mate? But yeah. Oh! This is the leftover save files I do have. This wasn't my first save file, because my first save file I did play as Vince with the hunky guy. But, this is my second save file I played like, not this year, but like back when I first got Steam back. It must be like my previous computer. Back when I first started doing Steam Cloud saves, that's why I have these saves. Like obviously I don't have the first save because like it was on a computer that's gone, and I didn't have backups back then. But this is why I tried to replay it again. Give me a good idea. It takes about 6 hours to get to the ending then, because that's in the ending you get. That's one good thing. Like you get to choose whether you want to wear a suit or a dress, regardless of whether you pick the male or female. This game is really inclusive and good. But yeah, I'm gonna save here because I can't even remember what went on in that replay. It must have been like a while earlier than like 10 years ago. But this must be like at least 5 years ago I replayed this. Like wow. You know what? I'm gonna load that save and see what's going on. Let's give you a preview. Like, remember I deliberately picked a female character that time because I felt bad. Like I didn't pick a female character because like all the character designs were bad. Yeah, this is the final ending where it's like the whole thing after you go through and all this shit, and then you try and break up the marriage between like your ex and like the shitty rival character. Who did I pick for my ex this time? Oh, hello, random naked man. Don't forget, we are Ones of Swords. Please come see me later if you want to book us for your event. Great choice for rockin' christenings. Oh yeah, I think whoever you... Oh, there is a way you can have, like, neither of them die. Sure, here's going to be a pretty big test for us. We don't need to venture too far away from the clinic these days. It's been a good opportunity for Dark F and I to talk about our relationship. First time to understand each other a little better, you know. I totally forgot there's a way you can resolve that silence without either of them dying and them actually, like, being a... Thank you. I'm proud of you, shitty stereotype lady who only exists to be like bad drug person. That you actually end up not being bad drug person in the end. I'm proud of it. It's good, like everyone for the side quests. Hey, remember to support musicians, right? You should always buy a soundtrack if you like a tune. Yeah, blatant DLC baiting. I'm really happy for Mona. Yeah, this is one of the protagonist options from earlier. Isn't how like depending on like certain ones do end up appearing later in the game as NPCs and some of them don't. You want to do with my life after we finish this. What do you get great? Most of the game he's like your main antagonist. I think that's how it goes. Like he rips off your book option, publishes it under someone else's name, and like that's the reason you never get the royalty check from it. But like in the end, like he ends up figuring out like, hey, the reason I'm so desperate and stupid and I'm betraying all my friends is because I'm just deeply unhappy with my marriage, and I'm constantly having to like prioritize making money over everything else to like keep up this kind of like attitude of being a rich person and keep up the house she wants and stuff. Like I can just do better. I can like date someone who's not abusive. So like he is a shitty guy who is basically the villain of the game. He gets a redemption arc in. The reason why so many people dislike the spouse in this game is they don't get a redemption arc. They just get like the secondary villain, who's Sam, who's your rival, who's the one who this guy put the false name onto your writing, and they stole your wife and everything and all that. They don't get really a redemption arc either, but the spouse doesn't get a redemption arc. It's a game that acts as if they didn't do anything wrong, like they were totally not at fault from like being manipulated away from you by this other guy. But like the way the game plays out, it does seem like they just kind of like made a shitty choice. They didn't stand by you, they didn't believe you when you said you were being a victim of fraud. It's a bit of a shitty way. I think I remember that was the last side quest of the game. It's like depending on your choices, either he dies or he doesn't, because you have to confirm. That's where the hitman guy comes in. The first time he comes in is because like that guy, he gets like caught up like all the fraud he's made, the loan sharks who like gave him the deal in the first place, they come back to like collect on him, they send a hitman after him, and like that's the way it's so hard to get like the goodest good ending. It's like you have to save his life, which means like I think you have to get like a million quid by the end of the game, which means like knowing the systems inside and out and like a million playthroughs to like figure out what to do, or following a guide. You have to do that, and then you also have to pick the very specific options which get the spouse to follow you. That's why people hate the spouse, because they only take you back if you committed literally no sins, and like you have to do very specific things to avoid committing sins in like sins the game. It's just a terrible choice to like make a game all about redemption, and in the end you can't get redemption. You can only get a good ending if you didn't do anything worth redeeming in the first place. And that's why like the spouse character is like a symbol of everything bad in the game, to be honest. It's a bit of a shame. I do wish there was an option to dump him and go with someone else. Or I'd like to dump him but still have a happy end for yourself. You know what, I'm glad you're getting divorced. I'm also glad you're getting divorced. For a moment I thought maybe you had a redemption arc like Vi, but evidently not. Fuck you. Okay, anyone stand smell that horrid seawater? Oh yeah, I think maybe it was like you could get to choose like multiple locations for the wedding to take place or something. Or what am I thinking of another game? No, I think of Our Life. That one you get to choose from the beach wedding and somewhere else. Yes man, I can't believe you're here. Bellinger? What the heck are you doing here? I was in town for a Swagfest convention. You know what? What's a good place to plug your weird DLC side quest? In the dramatic ending cutscene. No! This is where you get rewarded if you kept the first one from the start of the game, or if you collected the entire thing yourself, you can then sell it to him like at the last minute. I think this is like, it's a bit of a shame this happens like after the point when you needed all the money to save that guy's life. Bit of a kind of a cheat that this happens like right after the point when you need the cash. The game can be a bit mean to you sometimes. Yeah, I think depending on which choice you make, different NPCs will appear over here. It helps me to go back through memory, you know, like which NPCs I picked that time. There's somewhere in Las Vegas. Oh yeah, like, it's funny how they're trying to avoid copyright, but they have an AC/DC shirt right there. Yeah, that's what, like the last place that like you basically have to like either you figure out how to game a system of that lottery machine early on, and figure out how to game a system of the gambling in a casino right at the very end. Because like there is physically no way to make enough money you need just from like doing regular jobs and like being a good person the entire game. It's a right old shame. It takes so much to get the happy ending, and it's not very happy because you're taking back an awful person. Something crappy! Unfortunately, I only know one song. What was the problem then? How about you join this one here? For a second I thought the game glitched out. Perfect music to have a shitty weird ending to. Before I'll check on a save screen. Yeah, I picked one of the very generic women because all the options for the women are generic there. So this is a bit of a shame. The protagonist option have like it's still like less variety for the women. It's more variety when you get for the love interest, but the love interest options like all kind of same. It's like black or white options for the same woman with the same hair colour. Over and over and over again. Oh, I think I should probably like edit to put in the options you also get for Sam the Rival, because you didn't get far enough to get to that point anyway. Yasmin. I'll see which ending did I get on this run. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour to present to you Sam and Mona. Yeah, we'll see which design we got for Sam or arsehole. I don't know if this is Sam or Mona right now. Again, all the options for the rival, the female options for the rival, either look a lot like the protagonist or they look a lot like the love interests. It's a bit of a shame. It is great they had so much variety, but it is a shame that they filled up the variety with like several duplicate slots, depending on which gender you pick. And the fact that they have like redrawn new art assets, it's not even like we just copied the same woman, it's like we just drew several designs for the same woman. It's a bit shame. Really walking about outside of the way there. The jittery effect happened again. Followed us from beginning to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to have you gathered here today for a momentous occasion. few times in life we get to witness true miracles. I believe we're here to witness one today. True love, you don't know how false this love is, man. Above all things, the most improbable occurrence in this world. Two souls are born apart. They grow independently. They experience uniquely. Yet eventually they come to find each other and know each other wholly. This is the miracle we celebrate today, Lee. Smorch, Sam and Mona. We gather here together on this beautiful beach to share this wonderful moment with you and to exchange vows of everlasting love. You're both ready to make the commitment to one another today? Yes, I am. Yes, me too. Now I do believe you've written vows for each other. Yes, I'd like to go first. I can't even tell which is Sam and which is Mona. Okay, that's Mona, because like, yeah, Sam, I knew I was in love with you for the moment. You're lying in your wedding vows. Like, that's the thing, is like the first introduction between like spouse and Sam is them going, oh, Sam's a weird creep, like why do they keep hitting on me when they know I'm already engaged to you? And then 5 seconds after you lose all your money, they go and marry Sam instead. Like, really, why should I want this person back? Pick me up and my life was at its darkest. You made me whole again. You literally had money when I abandoned my spouse who did not have money. Actually, I don't know what would become of me. Also the fact that 5 seconds after this, if you get the good ending, they'll just like ditch Sam and go back to you anyway, so everything they're saying here is like false on 2 levels. Thought of being without you I can't stand, except 5 seconds later I actually kind of come around to it. No, I'm not perfect. Without you I feel complete. Sam, I love you with all my heart has to offer. For this next 5 minutes. Oh, I promised I wouldn't cry. Mona, my life with you has been everything I've ever wanted. All the money I stole from my best friend. In your arms, I'm happier than I ever be. I like to rub it in a lot. Look forward to whatever our future together may bring. You're a wonderful partner, and I love you. Mona, you are the best part of my life. Oh, you've got me going now, too. Smorch. Now that the vows have been said, you will exchange rings with one another. However, before we get to that, is anyone who objects to this union, please speak now or forever hold your peace. It's time. Breathe in. Object. I object! I have better fashion sense than that hussy. Yasmin? Protagonist Chan, you're back from your character arc! Yasmin, what are you doing? I can't let this happen without saying something. I love ye. I still love ye. Don't do this. Please, just think about it for a second. Sam's really what you want, I'll understand. I can't remember what the correct dialogue choice. It was like, after all the shit you have to go for making very specific dialogue choices during the entirety of the game, then you have to like save £1 billion of money to save this guy. Then you also have to make very specific dialogue choices during this ending, so I might end up getting the bad ending anyway and showing what it's like, but yeah. There's even the smallest doubt in your heart though, don't make this mistake. Sam, is that really all it took? Is that really all it took? Well, I know it took a lot more, it took a lot of very specific choices during the entirety of the game, but like, from Sam's perspective, it's like, I love you, you complete me, I'll never be without you. My old girlfriend comes in and says, don't do it, and nothing else. Okay, I'll not do it then. Don't be, it's not your fault, Yasmin's ruining everything. No, Sam, I'm sorry. I can't do this, I can't marry you. Not after what Yasmin just said. Don't do it. The end. What? What do you mean? Is this the consequences of my actions? Please, I'm sorry. You selfish motherfucker! How could you do this to me? We had a life together, we were going to be happy. On the back of destroying your happy life. Sam, I'm sorry, I'm being the bigger person even at this point. I'm still a good and cool protagonist. You're sorry? Sorry for what? Exactly, you don't have anything to apologise. These 2 people right here screwed you over, and we didn't have a happy ending without either of them. Everything I've ever had, you've ruined it, Yasmin. Do you have some kind of, like, reverse memory? You ruined it because everything else had to be about you! The hypocrisy! Well, guess what? This is the final fucking straw! It's like hose of a McDonald's cup! Taken from me for the last time! You were the cause of getting rid of the plastic straws! Slap fight, Sam, no! Dude, before did you just like bump into my chest? Whoa, what happened? Where is everyone? You got knocked the fuck out, mate. How's your head? Oh, it's killing me. What's going on? I love that Sam clocked you and hit the road. It's kind of weird how he didn't have an animation for that and have an animation for like whipping out a gun. You're out cold for a while. You stayed with me? Well, yeah. Someone's gonna look after you, right? And unlike what's fact, I guess that kind of counts as like a character arc, but the fact that you didn't really initiate it yourself, like now I'm gonna stay with you even when you're suffering, even though I didn't before. Even though, like, I wasn't going to do it out of my own free will, I never realised I did anything wrong out of my own free will. I've only, like, after you literally, like, became a millionaire, am I gonna take you back? Like, yeah, I guess so. So, what does this mean? For us? I don't know. I mean, I did just get out of a pretty serious relationship. Please, my head hurts too much for jokes. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Could just be making the same mistakes all over again. There's no way of knowing though, is there? Whatever it is, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's not really enough to make up for all you did. Especially when you're like, oh, I don't know if I'll be better this time. Even though the way she's saying it's like, I don't know if you will make mistakes again. Like, this game really does go hard, like, it was all your fault, but it really wasn't. So that's it? The story's done? You had a happy ending? I'm not expecting that, because like, that's where the ending twist comes in. It's like, if you get any other ending, the person underneath the mask ends up being you, and it's like, that was the point, like, I tried and struggled so hard, I won $1 million, and I still couldn't get my love back, and like, not getting my love back didn't make up, like, all the other things I improved in my life. I went straight back to, like, living in the gutters and being homeless and dying. It says a lesson about how you shouldn't do bad things, even though none of it was my fault, and like, it's a really not very good ending. But in this ending, you'll be surprised to find out who is under the mask. Is this the part where I decide whether or not I'm going to shoot you? There's some long and pointless stories in my life, but this one takes the cake. Hell, I still don't even know who you are. Of course you wouldn't. Live in a world where none of the players in that story end up here. This little stage we live in though, no character can escape tragedy. That would be more fitting if I got the tragic ending, but yeah. The up and down of life ebbs and flows forever in a circle. For every high you achieve, you'll pay an equal low. One time I had everything I ever wanted, but all things shall pass. What the hell is this fruitcake talking about? You know, I don't care who this Joker is anymore. Pull the trigger and let's get the fuck out. It'd be fun if it was just Joker from Dragon Quest. If you allow me a moment, I'll explain everything. Do it now while his back is turned. In cold blood without knowing who it is? It's funny how even if you get a happy ending, you can still fuck it up here. No, not like this. I'm playing Redemption Gunman. Redem Gunman. Regumption. I have to know who I'm killing first. Yeah, you're Sam, aren't you? That's the thing, is like, if you get a good ending, it ends up being Sam here. No, I can't remember, was it Sam or was it the other guy who, like, one of them gets into debt and can die? I think it's like, if you get a good ending, Sam ends up here. If you get the second to good ending, where, like, you can still get back together with your boyfriend or girlfriend, but you can get that guy killed, then I think it is, like, the other guy comes up here. No, you can get Sam killed at some point, and then Sam won't be there, and it won't even be, like, a wedding ending or something like that. I think it's, like, you automatically get your girlfriend back if Sam dies or something, and then Sam won't be here, and instead it'll be, the publisher guy who did all the money. So it is interesting how the ending itself still plays out the same, but who it is that gets this terrible fate in the end depends on your choices. It's really interesting. You're Sam, aren't you? What the fuck is this loser doing here? You've made out of your casino alive, but one of us is already dead. Maybe you should have killed one of us right there and then. Perhaps things would have turned out differently. We both needed her love, but in the end she didn't choose me. Perhaps because in wanting her so bad I had become something less than human. So it's like, you do kind of get a last-minute redemption arc for Sam, but in a sense they're saying all the same dialogue that you would say if you were in this position. Because it is exactly literally the same ending, except the only thing that changes is, like, your insert name here, aren't you? Mona is happy now, happy without me. I've had the love in my life, what happiness is there? Your character will be saying all this if you got a bad ending, which is why it sucks. Like, no matter how much development you did throughout the game, you get this shit ending if you don't end up marrying the right person. There's no other for me, there never would or could be. Came out here to live in the gutter with the rest of the fiends. Came out here to die. You have a mean? Why don't you just kill yourself? Guy. I'm so very tired of choice. That's a really good line. That's like a really good way of ending it, honestly. Like, the entire game is like, the game is like, no matter what choice you... That's like, when you get any ending except a happy ending, that is the way the game plays out. Like, no matter what choice you get, it was all pointless in the end. There was no way you could have won this, because, again, there is a way to win it, but you have to know, like, precisely what the fuck the development want you to do, and, like, really jimmy all your systems and do everything in the precise, correct order, and, yeah. I'm good that they at least put in an option to have a good ending, but, like, again, it's like, it kind of ruins your own moral. It's like, oh, no matter what, you had to face up to your own choices when, like, again, it wasn't your choice, but that leading up to this line does work really, really well. It's like, I'm so sick of all these choices that don't mean anything. But it doesn't really mean much when it's Sam saying it, because they didn't have any choices. The entire game was them making all of the choices, the bad choices, on purpose. Don't have the will left to make a decision either way. Here I am, at your mercy. I'm ready to be judged, the choice is now yours. Jesus Christ, you've lost your fucking mind. Who gives a shit? Blow her fucking head off. Do I deserve the death I long for? Or are we always sometimes monsters? The title drop. So like that, again, it kind of like, when the game tries to be serious, it kind of ends up more hilarious than when it's trying to be silly. Like, this is the justification for the title being that, but like, it doesn't even make any sense in context. It is just a funny assortment of words that we thought sounded really deep, but it really doesn't. What does it exactly? Whatever you believe it does. I can't do it. You need help, lots of help. Sorry for everything that's happened to you, but this isn't the answer. You might feel like you deserve to die, but I'm not the one who does it. What the hell do you think you're doing exactly? I'm having my redemption. Like, this is the guy you literally only see in like the establishing first and last cutscene, but he has like, you get the choice of giving him a good character development arc. Or if you do, like, in this end, from what I feel like, a lot of people ended up just shooting Sam in this end because they just wanted revenge against Sam, but I feel like Sam's already had enough revenge against them. Like, they finally realised how much of a shit they are. Like, what? It feels bad, like, once they finally, like, decide to change his then when you kill him, told you to shoot this lunatic. Sorry, but after all that, I just can't do it. Can't do any of it anymore. I quit. I quit killing. I tell you to quit killing. I shoot this fool, but he's gonna shoot you. Why can he not just shoot you? I'm done. It would have been more cathartic if he shot him. Cause yeah, exactly. You're not frightened about your handyman. Oh wait, I forgot. This is a really good way of ending it off. It's like he's like, oh, I'll do it, and then he can't. He's too much of a fucking coward to do it when it counts. You're not frightened about your handyman, are you? What? No. I'll shoot you. Just wait. Unlikely. Men like you pretend they have choice, but you're just as apathetic to it as I have become. Spend your whole life on the cusp of a decision, but always staying one step removed. With will to let the minions you control do your bidding for you, you live in fantasy. Tell me, when was the last time you really did anything at all? Fucking excellent line. This ending really is really, really, really good. That's what I thought. Goodbye, friend. I'll see you in another life. And they really will, like in another life they might be siding with him and being the absolute shitlord and like winning the day in the end. It's a really good way of ending it, honestly. Like you get conclusions like all the villains all at once. You get one guy who gets redemption arc, you get another guy who gets redemption arc, you get another guy who like is an arsehole, falls down and then gets a redemption arc in the epilogue. And then you get a really hard to read credit scene, but it can't all be perfect. But ending it off on like the one guy who had no potential for redemption whatsoever, getting us just desserts is really, really good. I think in that sense, like this ending, it comes better coming out from Sam's mouth because Sam is the one. Oh, Modern Algebra did so many good scripts. Sorry, getting a bit nostalgic here, but yeah. Oh, the VX8 era. Oh, was this VX8 or was this a regular VX? I can't even remember. Next in line, please. Hey there, so can I make it out to you, Mr. Slightly Different Pastel Colour Scheme? Can you make it out to Calvin? Oh yeah, that was like the good ending is that they make a book about all their shit that happened to them and it becomes a bestseller and they make up with what's it, the publisher guy, and he's now actually doing it legit and like he ditches his terrible wife, and it's like it's a really good way of bringing it all together. Even it's kind of just funny and like it's a title drop. It's especially funny that it's a title drop when like no matter what you do in the ending, the one who's doing this has never heard that line. They were the one who wasn't in that scene. Like, you can't get a situation where, like, Sam is the homeless person and then also writes the book. It's always whoever is not the homeless person writes the book. So where did you get the line? Like, they just both coincidentally thought of the same very strange line. I think these guys are like not backers, like it was just before Kickstarter. Like I think the people in the ending who show up are like people who support the game. Thanks a lot. I don't usually finish many books. I really want this one signed. Don't usually finish books, huh? Take it you like this one then. Oh, absolutely. Never read anything that captures the human spirit quite so well. We're just gonna suck our own cock at the very end. You're truly a master of the craft. This is the best game ever, have you heard? I mean, it's good, but I wouldn't go that far. It's not perfect. You had the entire side quest in the middle about shitting on cars. Like, even the talk is in the line. Hello, gentlemen, can I help you with something? Yeah, actually might be. Oh yeah, it was like, that's why the carriers are developers. You can meet them at various points during the game and have a lot of like funny scenes and stuff. At the end they're like, hey, can we make a video game of your book? And it's like a fictionalized account of like where the game came from. It's a really cool way of like integrating yourself as a Sona into the game. My name's Justin Amakani and it's my business partner Jake Reardon. Nice to meet you. It's good to know their names. I mean, you know if you read the credits, but like, yeah. I think it is the first time they mention their names in the game, right? Because you got to hold up, who are these people running this game company? And then at the end, we are the ones who made your game! We run a small video game studio called Vagabond Dog. Alright, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Oh, I came across your book and had a really crazy idea for a game based on it. Oh, it all comes full circle. It's straightforward retelling of your adventures of all the ups and downs. Yeah, always sometimes models a really big influence on us, and we'd really like to work with it. Yes, you can say we're interested in obtaining the rights to it. Want to make a video game out of this thing? How much are you willing to pay for these rights exactly? Yeah, and that's where you get a happy ending, you get a successful book, and you also like finally actually get rich. Did we ever say how the game wasn't like you can have a happy ending while not being rich and also not getting the girl, but like, again, they couldn't give choices for literally every option. How does $1 million sound exactly the amount of money you had to spend to get the happy ending? And it's really ironic. $1 million? Yes, well, I'm sure it's a good place to begin negotiations. Of course, I have to draw up all the paperwork and everything, but yes. Oh, don't be greedy even at this point, mate. I was just praising your character arc. I think something could be arranged. Great, well, how about people call your people or whatever? Really looking forward to working with you guys. This game was definitely not made on a budget of $1 million. See you later, then, I guess. I really think those guys will be able to turn this thing into a game? Honestly, who knows? I do kind of like go on a bit too long about this, yeah. It could have just ended at the line where you want to make this a game and just like, cut to black there. Oh yeah, that's what I like the game has like a little playable epilogue. Where like, again, whichever character succeeds gets being playable in this epilogue. It's always an epilogue of like you and the love interest being in a happy house and going on having a wholesome time. But the tone of it is completely different because if you get the bad ending, you play as Sam in this. Like, and it's just like, oh, Sam is having a happy ending, and it's like, now your save file can only ever be used to play as Sam. And it's like, it's a really good way of like punishing you for like getting the bad ending. It would have worked better if the bad ending was really like all your choice, but oh well. Still can't believe it, Yasmin. Thought I was gonna get married today. Don't know what to tell you. Glad you're here with me. So what do we do now? Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna go take a nap. Today's been exhausting. Feel free to see what movies are on the Getflix account today or whatever. It is weird how they have some copyright and they just blatantly use others. So occupy yourself, I've got some thinking to do. What's this, a wedding gift? Right, I'll take a look at it. Since letting gifts go to waste just as the wedding did. Oh, someone's going to we're not going to leave it at one line, are we? It's the happy couple who've come to the end of a long journey together. What lays ahead of you, none of us know for sure. Only time and patience will reveal this new path. It's awfully sweet of those guys to foreshadow their sequel coming out 10 years later. Oh, so they gave Mona a game cartridge or something. Please enjoy this Vagabond Net video game cartridge. It will automatically download and update new data. This is the era before that was actually possible. It is kind of funny looking back. The $59.99 annual service fee for online connectivity has also been waived. Happy gaming, you two crazy lovebirds. Neat, free video games. Might as well go hook this thing up. And I might as well probably end it here, because there is no point in just me wandering around and saying this little like optional continuing opening world sandbox of like wholesome random moments to just go like, it just really asserts you like, hey, the game is over and they're all happy now. It's nice that they put this in the feature. I always like when games do it, like Undertale let you go around and talk to all the characters one last time before leaving, all like unique, wholesome dialogues. This game doesn't quite do that. I think, if I remember correctly, you can't actually leave the house, and it is only like you get various happy dialogues with your spouse. Oh yeah, this is just a way that you can replay like, the mini games that they had throughout the game. You can only stay in the house, but you can redo different parts of the game through touching all the different appliances and stuff. It is a cool idea for an epilogue, but on that note, let's leave it here. That's good. I'm glad I went back and like read this and even resaw the ending and everything. That's good. This episode's definitely gone on longer than half an hour, because I went up half an hour just on regular gameplay, but like it was worth it to like load up my old save. I'm glad I even noticed it was here. This isn't my old save, but like it's good to like recover the secondary save or whatever. I'm still not gonna replay it myself and like try and get like the good ending with the character design I actually like, and then maybe I'll finally play the sequel and carry it over to that and see what happens. Because I don't even know what happens in the sequel. As far as I know, it's like, and then the happy ending wasn't happy forever, and something bad happens to you again. You have to go on another big adventure. But I don't think it's just your wife dumping you again, because that would really, really suck if it goes back to the same thing. I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope it like has an even happier ending in the end. I hope it's an easier to get happy ending where like you feel like you're actually being rewarded for your choices rather than being rewarded for like figuring out what the fuck the game developers even wanted. But yeah, that was good. That's ended up, and I'm glad I had to have a good nostalgic moment talking about a game I loved, and also finding it's even better than I expected. And having a blabber on about my childhood, because why not?
Futureborn zooming in to add an unexpected note. While I was googling for images of all the different character creation options, I found that no one had a source of all the different options for Sammy Arrival, so I went, okay, I'll look into the files of the game myself and I'll see if I can find them. When I was doing it, I unexpectedly found like a load of interesting beta stuff I had no idea existed. I'm not showing this to like slag off the game, I'm showing off to show how great the game is. It's just really fascinating to see the beta of how things develop. Like if you ever thinking of like putting a video out on like the development process yourself, like a blog or something, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear the context behind all these mysterious images, like wow. So first off, here's actually the images of all the potential Sam Arrival designs. I don't know how the game actually determines it. From when I was playing, I just assumed it was random. Like, unlike the protagonist and your love interest, you don't pick them actively as yourself. They just show up, but you get these various different designs. I don't know if it's maybe like it's calculated based on like your protagonist and the love interest you picked, and like they add them together and subtract or something, I don't know. But it's pretty cool to see. I always seem to keep getting the female Sam, the third from the right, because it's probably one of the most boring designs in my opinion. She looks so similar to so many of the protagonist and love interest designs. I really like the female design for Sam, the fourth one on the side. Also the fourth male design is also better. Like the last slot ones, they're my favourites. I never seem to get them in my playthrough. Another thing that's also like you can see in the final game, I just thought I'd bring this out while I'm here. It's really cool how the game lets you decide to wear a suit or a dress in the wedding at the end, regardless of which gender you pick. So here's a nice image showing a comparison, and here's our protagonist in them, because it's double cool that they actually put the effort of doing a separate body model. Everybody else is the same body model, they just copy and paste the head on. But if you pick the slightly chubby guy, or if you pick the slightly buff love interest guy, they have like a customized, entirely redrawn body model for all the dresses and suits, and it just looks really cute. I think he looks really, really adorable in that dress, to be honest. I think that like objectively looks better. I don't know if it's just my bias as a trans person, but oh well. And now on to the actual fascinating, interesting, weird, bizarre beta stuff. One thing I found really cool, how they handled the visual novel style port. They have a set of like every single text box in the entire text box with the picture added to it for every character. The majority of them are just blank text boxes with no images, and then like the ones where a character does have a portrait, they've added the portrait on. I find that really fascinating. But also it feels like you could have just like maybe simplified it down to like one file for the empty portraits, but maybe the plugin or script they were using had to have one for every name box. I don't know. I just found that fascinating. And then something interesting is there's a bunch of beta sprites, but there's no beta sprites for the protagonist. All protagonist options seem to be their final version, and the majority of characters don't have like a full set of beta sprites or everything to do. So I guess they must have like either removed ones or like changed characters around in development once the sprite style change was made. But anyway, here's the only character I could find which has a full set of sprites in the default VXA style rather than the one they went for the Mac style. It's Dark F, and he originally had green hair. There's a surprisingly large amount of beta sprites for the introduction hobo character. How it's listed is it's listed as hobo and bum. But yeah, there's two early designs which don't have them masked up, and then it makes me wonder if his character was like designed to be someone different during development, and they didn't think of like the interesting hook. Oh, this character will turn out to be like whoever loses in the ending. The assassin guy in the original cutscene is given a canon name Hunter in the files, which I thought was interesting. There's also a surprising amount of like duplicate files of him, and there's like him in the VX Ace like early style with like every sprite that the protagonist has, like it's like, oh, him in a suit, him in a this, him like a work uniform, various stuff like that. So it does make me wonder if he was originally going to be the actual protagonist side, and him being the first character you play in the final game was like a callback to it, maybe. There's also files of like the hooded final protagonist design, like also using the name Hunter at some point. So I guess maybe that's like the progress of where it went through all of the different protagonist designs in the final art. So there is only one in the files that is never used in the game, and annoyingly, it's exactly what I asked for. Like one more diverse female option, like one to match up with the one chubby guy option. There's also one chubby girl option, but she seems to have been rejected early in development because there are no designs for her wearing the different suits and dresses. It would have probably taken extra time to redraw the body model for the suits and the dress. Maybe they decided, oh, let's just stick with one different body type character, which it's a shame because there aren't many games where you do actually get to play as like a chubby female character. Especially at the time, there were definitely not very many of them. Interestingly, you can see this design in the final game. She's on like a one magazine poster at some point, I think. It's like a plus size magazine. It was interesting they found a way to still use the design asset in the final version. There's a whole gigantic pile of resources for early beta title screens with completely different titles for the game. They're not listed here in order because I have no clue what order they were actually developed. I'm just theorizing vaguely. To be honest, I prefer the name Save the Date. It actually fits like what the game is about. It's like you are rushing in this time frame to avert a bad tragic marriage where your wife is going to marry someone else. I don't know why they decided to change it, except again, I guess just we thought of a cool association of words which means nothing, and maybe people will be intrigued to figure out what it means by playing the game, and you don't even find out what it means by playing the game. It is just a sort of cool, edgy phrase which doesn't really connect to anything, but they title drop it in the final conversation. I don't want to be too negative on the choice, but like even the logo looks way better for Save the Date. Like I don't know, maybe that was the reason why maybe whoever made the logo like got let off the development team and they couldn't use it anymore and they had to get a new logo. That's the only way it would make sense to me, because I can't imagine thinking sometimes whatever monsters is a better name. I guess the only way it's better is like you can reverse it to make the sequel. What I also found interesting is that for some of the file names for these images saying Save a Date were not called Save a Date. There seems to be there's two other beta titles that were in here. One is just called Long Road, and one of them is called The Road to San Vedeno, which you can see in the early in one of the early logos here. It's got like a little logo for San Vedeno on it, which is the place where you go to like avert the marriage in the end. Those two names, I'm not too fussed on those. Those like it does get to the point of like I'm explaining the premise of the game a bit too clearly and distinctly to the point where it doesn't become catchy. Save a Date is a very catchy way to sum up what the game is about, but it's not just here is name of place you walk down road to the game. So yeah, I found that minorly interesting and a good little bonus feature to add on here. And again, I've got to praise the developers for how much development they put into this. They like completely revamped the sprite style like halfway through the game. It's like, wow. They've done so much work to add way more custom assets into this. And like even if I don't like the title change, it still shows that there was a lot of development and there was a lot of changes going into the process. I would love to hear a development blog someday about the process for changes, what it started out, where it went, what the decisions were to change the name. And I love it. Oh, one more thing is there is like a set of preview sprites for the changed art style in the sequel, but it's slightly different to what we actually got when the sequel actually came out. So I'm going to put those up on screen. There's like, it looks like an in-between stage between what we've got in the game and then what we got in the sequel. Personally, I like the sprite styles of both games. Like, I'm nostalgic for the Max sprites, and like they're a good classic. Like, it's a good RPGMaker style, and like if it's not broke, don't fix it, and etc. But again, I appreciate the amount of work it went into making a fully custom, like extremely detailed sprite style for the sequel. They're both good in their own ways, and I'm excited to play the sequel someday. I just started gushing for like 20 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Back to the actual review now. We finally found out what the name actually is supposed to mean. There was this comment on a Steam discussion thread about someone saying they found the name to be so meaningful and it really helped them in their life. And I guess like people just were understanding this in a way I really couldn't. And then the developers come here and explain like, hey, yes, you finding the meaningful in it. You were actually correct, and this is what we totally intend to. It's supposed to be really, really meaningful. I feel really bad and guilty now that I was too stupid to get it. But I think it's just because I personally don't believe in this philosophy. 'Cause apparently the reason that the meaning of it is supposed to be, we are always sometimes monsters, as in like, everybody is shit, and if you don't admit you're shit, then you're an extra shit person. That was one thing I didn't like about the game. It's like, even if you choose to make like all the nicest choices possible, you go along like super mega difficulty mode, the game doesn't reward you in any way for like trying to be good despite good circumstances, and in the end you are forced to like a point where there are no options except bad options. There is no way to be nice and like to actually win. I feel like they did force that in order to get the message of like, oh, everyone does something bad sometimes, like you just need to be honest about how you're also a shit person. There's only villains in the entire world, everyone is someone's villain. I don't think that is correct. Like, it is possible to genuinely try and be nice and be nice. You can do that. It's like, it's true, like, don't ever believe like you're perfect and you can never make a mistake, but like there is a difference between like you can make a mistake, you can end up hurting someone by accident, rather than like you are someone's villain. To me that sounds like it's saying like you will always deliberately do something selfish and evil. Everyone has like selfish and evil inside them, as opposed to like even if you're trying your best like to be as nice as possible, there is going to be a point where you fuck up. I don't think it's also correct to like accept that you're shit and like that makes you better and like that's how you should go forward for life. I just don't think that's a good way to react to that. I think a way is to accept that you will fuck up, and then how you act when you fuck up determines whether you are actually a bad or a good person. In my opinion, if you're the person who accepts like, oh, I'm always going to be a villain, I'm always going to be bad, and then you don't do anything about it, to me that's kind of philosophy that would lead towards being a worse person, where you just like, I've seen a lot of people who take this philosophy in that way. I don't think that's what the developer is saying about this. I think the developer is honestly saying like, yeah, it is complicated, there is no like objective good or bad in the way, but I think there is an objective good or bad in intentions. Like, you can objectively say like, I tried to be good here and I want to be good. You can say that. You can't necessarily say, oh, I'm always going to succeed just because I have good intention, but you can say like, I am not trying to be a villain. And I don't think everyone has to accept that they all are all trying. It's like when people say like, oh, you have to accept everyone's just selfish deep down, because if you're doing a good thing, you're doing a good thing because it makes you feel happy. Like, no, that's not why I'm doing a good thing. I'm doing a good thing because I want someone else to feel happy. Like, fundamentally, that is not what my motive is, and no matter how many times you say, oh, your motive is really selfish deep down, like, it's not correct. That is not the motive I had in mind while doing it. There is a difference between, like, there is no objective situation where every single thing that is, like, deigned down from God to know that there is a correct answer to every situation, and, like, people can actually try and be good versus try and not be good. It is like intent versus philosophy. So that's my personal opinion on this. I do agree that it's really good to like send a message of like, no matter how hard you try, sometimes you'll fuck up and you have to face the consequences. But I don't feel like the game actually lives up to that, because again, the only way to get a good ending is to say like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, it was all just a misunderstanding. If you actually play the game trying to be good in every way and not do anything bad, you get punished, you get told like, no, you have to make a bad choice by the end, and everyone will chew you out as if you made a bunch of bad choices, even if you made the best ones. But also, if you actually try and like make a bad choice and make up for it, there is no redemption for it, there is no ending to actually get redeemed for making your bad choices. You could only get a good ending if you didn't, in the backstory, make bad choices, but you still have to make bad choices during the current day. It's very confusing. I get the developer intent, they were trying to do a very meaningful thing here, and apparently to a lot of the people they did get the meaningful intent through, and it was just like, it might just be me and my autistic weirdness who wasn't really getting it, but to me I feel like the intent didn't really come through, and now seeing this description of what it was supposed to be, now I understand it. I didn't really get it from just playing the game. The gameplay and the story that sometimes were a little bit at odds with each other. I feel like there could have been a way to take this and like to really refine the gameplay so that it feels fair and says the message without having to kind of force you into making choices you didn't want to make. But I'm glad that other people got more from this and also were able to intuitively get the idea that I didn't get from the name. Now I get why the name has changed, and I think that is an admirable thing to do, to decide like, oh, I'm going to make my game name not describe what the game is, but instead describe the moral philosophy of the game. That's a really cool idea. It's good that it resonated with people so much. I just feel sorry that I wasn't one of those people. And maybe it's because I'm a dumb shit. Anyway, in conclusion, Dark F marriage edit. He gets clean off a heroin and Dominic is so proud of him and they live happily ever after. And now they run the cool band together. They don't listen to anyone complaining that he's not doing Screamo about how sad his life is anymore. Instead, he's doing Screamo about how happy his life is. He gains so many more fans from the sheer uniqueness of rocking the fuck out with purely life-affirming positive messages. And swear words. Happy swear words. For some reason, the Swedish national anthem is in the files.